Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so DeAndre Hunter got a 4-year, $95 million extension. I want to congratulate DeAndre Hunter, but I cannot necessarily say I think that's a good move for the Hawks. I think it's a very bad one, actually. You don't have the money for that. You don't have the money for that. This is what I'm talking about. The Hawks, man, they've capped themselves off so bad. You talk about teams that make certain decisions that put them in a position to never be able to be as good as they want to be. That's exactly stuff that the Hawks are doing. I don't think they see it that way, but that's exactly what they've done. They traded away all of their future for a nice young point guard in DeJounte Murray. They have cap issues, and now they're giving cap money to people that have not been healthy. DeAndre Hunter is a player that the Los Angeles Lakers drafted. Fourth pick in the draft, the year that we were supposed to be, getting a pick. Instead, we traded to the how did that go? We've traded to New Orleans. New Orleans somehow traded it to Atlanta. That's how that ended up going. Atlanta ended up with DeAndre Hunter. We initially had drafted him, but DeAndre Hunter's a fantastic player. He is. When he's 100% healthy, had he never had these knee injuries, I think he's worth every penny of that. Probably will develop to average to earn more than what he signed for here. He's still a young enough player to where the knee injuries may not keep him from reaching a very high level. But it's not about that. It's about who is paying him. The Hawks don't have this kind of cap money, and it don't make no sense for them to be giving it to that player with the circumstances they got. They need to be getting rid of John Collins, possibly moving on from Clint Capella's contract to help supplement what it is that they just did, which is giving away all those picks for DeJounte Murray. They have no future, man. They're throwing everything into this next little 4-year window where they have DeAndre Hunter in place, DeJounte Murray in place, Trae Young in place. Once those contracts expire, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how that works. They can try to re-sign those guys at a lesser price, but chances are those guys are not going to settle for lesser prices. They ain't going to go for that, especially since they would not have been winning since you've done all of this and it ain't good enough to win. The Hawks are one of the worst organizations out there, man. I'm sorry, they are. It doesn't show. It doesn't show because they have a lot of talent right now. They've done some good things, drafting and all of that. But the moves that they're making, no, man, no. I like DeJounte, but you do not, absolutely do not pair him up with Trae Young and expect good things to happen. They're both point guards. No. I know DeJounte can play the two, but it's not about that. It's about what you're asking him now to have to take a back seat for, which is Trae Young's one-man band offense. You're asking him to be a complimentary piece at that price? And then you're going to tack on another bad contract on top of that when you haven't even gotten rid of the bad contract that is John Collins. Good luck, Atlanta. You're going to be as good as a 5 seed. That's your ceiling in my mind. It's 5 seed. And that's if no injuries and everybody plays amazing. That's 5. That's where you go in the Eastern Conference. That has all this length, all these teams that are deeper now than they've ever been. Teams like Chicago and Cleveland, and obviously you got to deal with Boston, even though they're in a little bit of turmoil. I like Atlanta as a playoff team. Like I said, I think they can make the playoffs. I don't have them all the way out of it, or even as a play-in tournament team necessarily, especially with everybody tanking around them. They should make it, but once you start getting into the playoffs and strategizing, you're going to just run into some issues, I believe. They're going to run into some issues. And the path to that, they're asking those 2 point guards to just sacrifice. And I just don't think it is what's best for either of them, especially not DeJounte. And then you consider how many picks they gave away in the process of that. If you can retrade DeJounte for those 5 picks, cool. Do I think they'll be able to do that? Doubt it. They won't be able to showcase him the way San Antonio did. So I don't know how he plays up that. He's a complimentary piece, basically, to Trae Young. He's like, now you turn him into a Robin, which is just silly. So that's my thinking in Atlanta. I just don't like anything I'm seeing there at all, really. I like the players that they got, but the way they're moving around, it's like, you're only going to be good. You're shooting for above average. That ain't going to get you no championship. And for a city like Atlanta, they should be shooting for the moon, especially in this era of life when all this is going on. I've been saying it for a long time. Atlanta sports teams are just missing the bus, man. Because this has been an era for the last 15 years where it's been booming in that city. They've owned hip hop. It ain't had enough. If the Hawks made but the Eastern Conference Finals, I think once in this era, since the Crunk era. Like, what are we talking about, man? They just dropped the ball entirely there, and they're continuing to. And they put together a nice little team with real nice, flashy star names. But trust you me, this is bad for long term, man. It's a bad contract long term, especially if the kid has issues with his health. You know what I mean? And he has had those issues. Like, I truly believe he's a hell of a player defensively and offensively. He's a two-way guy, score the ball, can attack from just about every angle on the floor. I love his game, but I'm not in a space where I'm honestly here to tell you he's worth just under $100 million for 4 years. Now, if you give him a 2-year deal and he plays that up, yeah, I can see y'all giving him a deal like that. But he has to show me he can play more than 60 games. I don't know that he's done that yet in his entire career. And y'all know, as I always mention to you guys, I play a lot of fantasy basketball. He can be ownable at times, but if you're managing what I've seen from him, you're only going to own him for like a good week and a half out of the month before he goes back down with either an injury or just falls out of rotation for some reason, or somewhere in between those two things. He's always fighting back from injury, so his conditioning is never quite where it needs to be. It's just like, and you're the team that's had him the whole time, and this is what you invested into him. I don't know. The Hawks will hawk, man. What you want me to say? We've talked about the Hawks enough on this channel. And y'all know what I think of some of the moves that they've made. I just think they've always left opportunities on the table to be better. And now that they've given away all their picks, there's no future. So whatever they're putting together, it better work. You know, as a Laker fan, I just don't see the fruit in building that way. I'm always looking at championships no matter what. So if we're building just to be kind of good, I'm going to really, really be against that. It's just how I'm wired. So it is what it is, man. That's a bad contract. What you want me to say? PDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.